It's like a statue, not moving at all. Let's see how strong he is. Just look at the thickness of that shoulder and neck area. Chest very well developed. Like I said, this bull is probably in his prime now. Now your southern giraffe, this species, big bull like this would probably weigh about 1.6 tons. It's about 3,000 odd, 3,400 or so pounds, and he'd be around 4 meters tall. So it really is quite a large animal. Quite amazing when you see them moving or running, how graceful they are, considering the bulk and the sort of leverage they've got to deal with that weight and also that height. Amazing animals. I mean, every single time you look at a giraffe, you have to just sort of do a double take almost. It's just such a unique design. Obviously, over a long period of time, they've evolved to be very specialized in the sense that they occupy a niche that doesn't really have any other challenges. By that I mean that they eat the very high up leaves. There's nothing that can reach their elephant indirectly. They can break down the branches and reach up with their trunks. But in terms of just pure straight down the line browsers, there's nothing that can touch a giraffe, literally. So as long as there's enough trees around, they can do quite well. Beautiful male. Like I said, it's not something that he was alarmed by. I never got the sense that he's worried about it, so I don't think it's a predator or anything. It was certainly something he found curious. Must have been just a bit of movement in the bush, maybe a little animal that's walking through. Even something small like a genet or a warthog or something like that would also attract their attention. They're very curious animals. You can see the ears pointing that direction as well. He's listening, but he's also listening around. Every now and again the ears just turning, just checking different sides of things. Beautiful markings, nice and dark in color, very healthy coat, healthy skin. You can see a couple of old scratch marks there. That would be combined from mainly just from sometimes running through thorn bushes, fighting a little bit with other males, and maybe the odd scratch from a lion as well. He's probably, like I said yesterday, it's always hard to guess or estimate exactly how old they are, but this guy is probably about 16, 18 years old. And in very, very good condition. But in that time he would have had a few battles with other giraffe and with predators as well. Look at those oxpeckers cleaning out all the little corners. Red-billed oxpeckers, and he's busy eating some acacia leaves there. You can see the little yellow flowers on it. Little pom-pom like flowers. Fantastic birds, oxpeckers. We haven't actually spoken about them in depth for a while, but they, again, very unique. Maybe like the giraffe. Like I said, the giraffe is really specialized in a specific niche, something where there's not really competition for giraffe. They're the only ones that feed at that height. And oxpeckers are the same in a way. Like a lot of your insect-eating birds, you know, bee eaters and rollers and so on, they've got similar niches and they all have a little speciality. Oxpeckers are very specialized. They need large mammals. If there wasn't things like giraffe and buffalo and kudu around, oxpeckers wouldn't actually be able to survive. It's a very classic, or probably the classic, example of a mutualistic relationship, which is one of your symbiotic relationships. People often confuse the two. They think symbiosis means this kind of relationship that oxpeckers and animals have, but keep in mind even parasitism is a form of symbiosis. Mutualism, per definition, is a relationship between two different species where both species benefit. In this case, the giraffe and the oxpecker benefit, and one of those species is dependent on that relationship for survival. So that means if there weren't large mammals around, oxpeckers wouldn't be able to survive. A little bit of textbook definitions there, but sometimes interesting to know those as well. Let's go look at some more behavioral stuff. Get a bit closer. Luckily the road curves in that direction. Eating some knobthorn leaves now, just making his way from one tree to the next. Lots of good food out here at the moment. Imagine the time this animal spends every day just feeding. You often talk about elephant, how much time they spend feeding. Elephants will spend 16, 18 hours a day feeding quite easily. Also giraffe need to spend a lot of time at it. Even though they are ruminants, so comparing again to an elephant or a rhino, they digest their food much better because of having a more complex stomach and also a different way of feeding and regurgitating and ruminating and all of that. So it means that they only need about half the volume of food per weight compared to some of your other big animals, but it still adds up to a lot of food they need to eat every day. For a giraffe, you're probably looking at about 30 or 40 kilograms. That's about 90 pounds or so of leaves every day, so it takes a while. Look how neatly it stripped all those leaves. You look at the tips of those branches, all the fresh young leaves, ones that are tasty and full of nutrition. Just neatly strips it off. Even at the tip of those there'll be little thorns. In this case, your knob thorn also has, you could call it a hook thorn if you wanted. It has these little sharp hook thorns, but for the giraffe it's not much of a problem. It just sort of strips the leaves off around them. Very tough lips, tough skin on the inside of the mouth, tongue itself as well, and they also have a very thick sort of slimy saliva which helps to sort of lubricate the process, so they don't actually have too much of a problem with some of these smaller thorns. Get that nice and close in there as well. Look at how it's going to strip those leaves. Nice mouthful. Long lips. You can see very sort of prehensile lips almost. You can really move them around and bend and twist to get to the tasty bits of whatever leaves they're eating. Oxpecker also very specialized mouth. It's actually got almost like a comb structure in the beak. Very hard to see. You'll have to go catch a bird and then look in close, but they can literally comb and brush through the animal's hair and that way get all the ticks. Oh, fantastic view of this giraffe.